but there was, there were people that were out to get Iraq well before 9/11, and they were just looking for their chance. And then this was for them a gift, like a gift from the heavens. This attack on the Twin Towers, and they seized it. In the end, like Iraq had nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter. They had this, this objective all along, and so they were able to seize on it, use it as an excuse, and went ahead with the invasion of Iraq.
And what was the real reason for the invasion of Iraq? I mean, it obviously wasn't WMDs. That was just an excuse. So was it just? Is it just because Israel wanted it? Is that really what it comes down to?
Well, no, it's, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but not much. Actually, in John Mearsheimer's and Stephen Walt's The Israel Lobby that came out not too long after, the Iraq War, they do make that argument that it was, it wasn't solely Israel, but the Israel lobby, we can say, those representatives of Israel within the U.S. government played a crucial role in bringing about the invasion of Iraq. And so people like Paul Wolfowitz is one that comes to mind. Richard Pearl, that's another one. These people were strategically placed within the government. They were, I believe that they were both dual U.S. Israeli citizens. I think it was either both of them or one of them was involved in a paper, that was written a few years earlier about remaking the Middle East, and essentially saying that, we need to go and take on, overthrow these various regimes, starting with Iraq. And it's something that was out there, this plan. And when 9/11 happened, they said, "Oh yeah, this is it." You
pull out the plan out of the drawer.
Yeah. No, I think that's how things work. We assume, the gullible public thought that there was a real connection between Iraq and September 11th, and there was none. There's still people to this day who believe it, but there was none. But the connection was imposed. There was a plan in place, and then they say, okay, this is convenient. We'll use this as an excuse, and let's invade Iraq.
Wild. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just how things work. I mean, it's just this. I'm sure you can find, and I'm sure we've discussed earlier, similar, similar situations take place vis-a-vis Russia. Something happens and it's just like, okay, yeah, this is our chance to blame this on Russia and ratchet up tensions with them. I think this is something that we saw preceding the war in Ukraine. They're just a faction that wants it to happen. And then when incidents occur, they decided, like, I think conveniently, if they were being very honest, they say, well, we don't know, what happened here, or it was such and such group. But it's just like, hey, it's convenient. We want to, because our plan is actually to have a conflict with Russia. So let's blame it on Russia. And, it works. I'm just giving you an example, but I think that's how things work. There are policies in place, and then the reality, the truth of these incidents are just secondary.
Right. And just to be able to shove their pre-made plan into action once something happens.
And that actually reminds me, I have to apologize that I actually provided some disinformation, I believe.
Oh my goodness.
And then earlier, I said that Iran had been responsible for some terrorist incident, a bombing in Bulgaria. Because I had seen that, and it was claimed, again by actually a news source that's not particularly hostile to Iran. But I looked into it, and it was this bombing that occurred in Bulgaria in 2012. It was a bus full of Israelis, and some of the Israelis were killed. Instantly, I think Netanyahu blamed Iran, and then he switched over to Hezbollah. And so, but some people still remember the Iran accusation. Now, eventually this got pinned on Hezbollah. You look at it, it's all very murky. Bulgaria first said, oh yeah, it looks like it's Hezbollah. Then they said, no, we don't see any. And then they said yes. And then the EU used that as an excuse for declaring the military wing of Hezbollah, a terrorist organization. Up to that point, they didn't. So that's what that designation's based on. But, we look at it and say, well, there was a Lebanese citizen associated with Hezbollah that facilitated like I think like the travel of the perpetrators. And who knows what, again, I just thinking like, Kremlin linked or whatever, Hezbollah associated. Maybe this person was Hezbollah associated, maybe not. And if he was, that it doesn't mean that Hezbollah ordered it, but it got pinned on Hezbollah. And I think it's just an example. I suspect, I can't know for sure. These things are very murky. But this incident occurred and Israel just jumped to said, this is a chance. We can see there's this Lebanese connection. Let's blame this on Hezbollah and we can get that terrorist designation we want. And
right.
That's how these things work.
It's clever because it's effective because then now they don't get any sympathy, right. Because the U.S. They're officially terrorists. We are killing terrorists. We are ridding the planet of terrorists. We are the good guys. So it's a very powerful label.